The recent visit of Pope Benedict XVI to Lebanon should be capitalized on through inter-Lebanese dialogue, according to President Michel Sleiman. During his September 14 to September 16 visit, the pontiff stressed on unity among Lebanese and urged them to resist strife and combat attempts to disrupt peace in their country. He also called on Christians in the Middle East not to fear, but brave the difficulties they face. Meanwhile, Lebanon is prepping itself for elections next spring, and the March 8 Majority Alliance and the March 14 Coalition continue their battle on an electoral draft law. Huge disagreements between the majority and the opposition, and mainly disputes between March 8 and March 14 Christian parties, are preventing both sides from reaching an agreement. And here to help us discuss the matter further is former Social Affairs Minister Salim Sayegh. Welcome, Mr. Sayegh.
Hello, thank you.
So let us begin with the elections. They're only a few months away. They're going to happen in spring. And although the leaders of the March 14 group and March 8 coalition agree that Christians do need a fair representation, it is the Christians among themselves that cannot seem to agree on the law.
Exactly.
And how do you explain the different positions that they are taking?
Actually, the divisions are now, first of all, between the 8th and the 14th of March. And then within each coalition, within 14th of March, we are trying to reach a common ground, not only as Christians, but together with our non-Christian allies, most notably the Future movement, in order to have a fair representation of the Christians. We cannot have all the 64 MPs elected only by Christians, but we should have a fair representation. And we're talking about numbers. Which law would give the best representation? Here in our Kataib Party project, we have 51 MPs being elected by Christians, whereas other projects, most notably that of the Lebanese forces, speak about 61 MPs. And we are trying to see how we can improve these two projects within 14th of March, so we can go together to the National Assembly and present a yesable proposal, because it's not enough, as the March 8 has done, it's not enough to say we can have 64 MPs elected by Christians, because this is not technically possible in Lebanon due to the geographical distribution of the population and the division of the different districts. This is why we say that we want, together with all the stakeholders in Lebanon, the Muslims and the major parties, we want together with them to reach a yesable agreement, a yesable proposal. This is why we are working on that project. I think somewhere between 51 and 61 the number should be, and that would have really all its chances to grant for the Christian a swift and solid return to the political life in Lebanon. Don't forget that during Syria era, the Christians were...
Sorry, the political life before, when you say...
I'm saying that
the political life of...
the Christians, the problem with the Christians, that after the Syrian takeover of Lebanon in 1990, the major Christian parties were ousted from power because the Syrians were afraid of all these parties who were resistant to the Syrian overtaking of Lebanon, political overtaking of Lebanon. And this is why they started to return back to politics in 2005, after the Cedar Revolution, after the murder, the assassination of late PM Rafiq al-Hariri. But this return of the Christian had to be granted and secured with an electoral law that will give them this fair representation.
Right, but in Kirki they had agreed, and now it seems they're disagreeing again.
Exactly.
And they're unable to reach an agreement.
This is a good question, because the... Excuse me to interrupt.
Of course, no, please.
This is a good question, because the four major, what I hate to say Christian parties, but parties representing mostly the Christian, if you want, because these are not Christian parties. There are no Muslim parties, Christian parties. But let's say this. These parties met in Kirki and were working on two projects that were concurrent.